Gentlemen, 2 out of every 3 guys are broke. If they had to go to an emergency room this week and pay out of pocket a $400 copay for that visit, they wouldn't be able to come up with that without going to a credit card or borrowing from a friend. Guys, today we're going to talk about why so many men don't have enough money. They're broke, and we're going to give you a starter plan for what to do about it. So welcome back, everyone. I'm David Long. This is the Mountain Men. Guys, I want to take us a second up front for those who are new to the channel or recently subscribed. Number one, thank you. Thank you for checking out this video. Thank you for being a subscriber if you have. If you haven't, this is a good time, and don't forget to give it the thumbs up button. But gentlemen, I want to remind you, the purpose of this channel is to help good men do great things. First in here, then in our families, then out in the culture. Gentlemen, the reason I do these videos is because this nation is in trouble. We are in desperate need of much better leadership on all levels, and it does start with leading ourselves. It does start with being a better husband and a better father in our family, and it does then take out to the community, whether it's in your church or whether it's in other community organizations. Maybe it's politics, maybe it's a job of influence, maybe it's even you have your own YouTube channel where you're trying to influence. Wherever it is, this nation needs better leaders, stronger men, and we live in a day of a great deficit of great men. So guys, I just hope that you'll subscribe and that you'll go on this journey with me, and when you give it a thumbs up, you help me help other men also start to deal with this process. Today we're talking about money. I'm going to put a link up at the end of this video for the one of my favorite videos I've done so far is a 7-point checklist for self-improvement. I think a lot of guys would like to do better in their life. They're not sure where to start, and that gives you just a real practical 7-point checklist. Well, one of those areas, and it's going to be a major area for us here on this channel, one of those areas is finances. So today, guys, we're going to deal with the topic of why most men are broke. As I said, 2/3 don't have enough money to make it to the end of the week, and if they had a medical emergency, had to pay $400 out of pocket for an emergency room visit, they wouldn't be able to do that without using their credit card. Guys, there's 7 or 8 real reasons. We're only going to deal with the top 3, and it's a little unconventional, my approach, but hear me out. Number 1, you don't have enough money because you don't make enough money because you haven't set your income goals high enough. You haven't set them what I would call appropriate to your situation. So guys, I'm going to give you a real easy rule of thumb, and I'm going to explain why I have this income goal. Gentlemen, I would like to challenge all my listeners to consider $140,000 in the year 2022, and if you live in California, you need to have about 20%, but $140,000 as your base income goal, and you're going to go up from there. And you say, well, David, that's a lot more than I'm making right now. That's fine. We're going to give you a little action plan at the end here. And I'm not talking about getting there in 6 months. It might take you a year, it might take you 2 years, it might take you 3 years. Gentlemen, it might take you 5 years. There's really nothing, there's no downside to setting the appropriate goal and then strategically working yourself towards it. So where did I come up with this $140,000? My thinking is this. You want to take your average household income in this country, which is about $68,000. We're going to round that up to 70, okay? That would be the minimum, that's the average. Now you're going to double that. You're going to go to 140, and you say, David, why would I double that if that's the average? Isn't that okay? Well, obviously, most of you know, really, if you're under 100K, you're probably still struggling a little bit living hand to mouth. So you're going to set it at 140K for a couple reasons. Number one, that's a good, just a financial base place to start, because you really need to be north of 100K. But the second reason is you want to communicate to your wife or to your future wife that you're able to provide for her in such a way that she doesn't have to work outside the home, at least not for money, if she doesn't want to. Now, if she does want to, if she has her own career, fantastic. You take your 140 and add to it whatever she's going to contribute, and you've got a pretty nice situation. But what if she wants to do volunteer work? What if she wants to stay home and raise children? What if she wants to do something that's just an expression of her artistic ability or whatever, and is really not financially viable? Or she wants to work in a shelter, or she wants to work at a food pantry, any of this kind of stuff. You have provided a family foundation now, gentlemen, so that your family is contributing to the world because she's freed up from that pressure. And you communicate to her how much you love her and how much you really appreciate her by going above and beyond the average call of duty So that's the number one reason, guys, is you haven't set your goal high enough. That's minimally where your goal needs to be. And obviously, and then I'm going to add one little factor here. For every child, add $10,000. Every one of your children that's living at home, add $10,000. And that'll put you in a pretty stable place. Guys, you need resources. And this is not about, you know, having fancy cars or fancy houses and all that sort of stuff. Nothing wrong with any of that kind of stuff. But gentlemen, that's not primarily where I'm coming from. Where I'm coming from is that you can't be under-resourced and have an impact on our culture. And we need men who are interested and motivated to have an impact on our culture. Gentlemen, the second reason that you find yourself broke and living paycheck to paycheck is because you live at too high a standard of living. You live at 100% or more of your take-home pay. And that's the first thing you've got to change. And we're going to change this in baby steps, but that's the first thing you've got to change. And guys, I'm going to throw out a recommendation here as well. I'm suggesting that you live at 80% of your take-home pay and that you move as quickly as you possibly can. I think you could probably start living at 95%, probably within 30 days, just by cutting out a few odds and ends extras, whether it's that extra latte, whether it's cable, some subscriptions you don't even use anymore probably, Netflix, whatever it might be. Just look at all your spending for the last 90 days and say, okay, where can I cut out 5%? But the goal is going to be 20%. You say, David, well, I've heard people say you should be setting 10% aside. You pay yourself with 10%. Why are you saying 20%? Here's why, guys. The kind of men this nation needs are the men who set aside 10% for long-term strategic savings. Okay, that's where everybody else gets the concept of pay yourself first, and you should. 10%, just have it automated out of your paycheck, okay? It's just going to come right out of your paycheck, and it's going to go into a savings account, and you're just not going to touch it, or into an investment account. But guys, I'm going to take it another 10% further. I want you to be putting 10% into charity. Now, that could be your local church if you go to church, and I hope you do. 10% could go there, and that could flow through, and the local church is certainly needed in our culture. That's part of what we need to strengthen in this nation. But it could also go to other good charities. I like to support Samaritan's Purse, for instance. They run to emergencies all over the world in the name of Jesus, and they take the love of the gospel, but they take it in practical ways. So whether you're a Christian or not, it kind of doesn't matter. You want to put your money in an organization you know is going to help with disaster relief all over the world, it would be Samaritan's Purse. Find good charities, and you're going to put 10% into a good charity, 10% into long-term savings, okay? The third reason that you're broke is because you're lazy. Now, before you get offended and click off, hear me out. Guys, you're not just lazy in terms of what you might be expecting me to say. You need to work harder. But let's start with that. You do need to work more hours. You need to think as a culture-changing kind of man is going to be minimum 50 hours invested in his job or his first job and his side hustle, but more likely about 60 and above. So you do need, if you don't have overtime opportunities at your work, you may want to think about a different company to work for where you do have overtime, because that overtime, that extra 10 hours, you're plussing up your hourly wage. If you're at $20 an hour, now you're at $30 an hour and so forth. If they have weekend, if they have night shifts, if they have out-of-town travel, any of that kind of stuff, and you're in an hourly position, always go for it. If they don't, consider some sort of side hustle. And there's lots of information out there how you can make another $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a year doing a side hustle. So guys, now I want to end this video with this recommendation. This video is not sponsored by anyone, but I want to recommend to you that you check out, and I'll put a link down below, that you check out Dave Ramsey. I think his website is DaveRamseySolutions.com, but just Google Dave Ramsey, it'll come up all over the place. He has a 9-session course, and it's really high energy. It's a lot of fun. It is not stodgy. This is a life-changing course. It's called Financial Peace University. We have all our kids go through it. We base most of what we're doing in terms of our financial picture in our family on the principles. It's a godsend. I think that if you bought the kit and the CDs, if it's even available that way, and it's out on eBay for $50, $60, you can buy a new one for about $140. Go out and buy yourself a copy of Financial Peace University. Hey guys, I really want to say thank you for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, I hope you'll do that and share this on social media, and especially give it a thumbs up, okay? I hope you guys have a fantastic day and a fantastic week. Guys, let's get out of debt. Let's get our financial picture much stronger, and let's have the impact for good on this nation, all right? Have a great day.